Jib will be, and I think I will be, because you might need to see my mouse. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Might be scuffed, but NA Overwatch. It's fine. So, yeah. Jib, how's that coming along?
What do you mean?
Are we gonna start a call, or?
Yeah, we can start a call whenever. I don't know who you have added.
That's easy. Hold on, let me start adding literally everyone. Might miss somebody, and if I miss anyone, I'm sorry, but I scrolled through everyone. I will work on it. Give me a second.
21-0 in a 4v4 right now.
It's fine.
Oh, damn.
Okay, I added a lot of you. I don't know who I'm missing.
Me?
So
I didn't get added.
I haven't clicked group yet, but
Oh.
whoever I miss, I'm sorry. Okay, I made the group. I don't know who's not in this.
Singe.
If anyone. Singe isn't?
Yeah.
And
I got you.
you might want to add Jib to the group. Oh, Joe.
Wait.
No.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was like.
Oh, your name's Coco on Discord. That's why I didn't see. All right. Jib, start the video call because you're the one screen sharing. I think you have to.
Wait, don't hit video call it.
Well, yeah.
That's a really terrifying noise when everyone joins at once.
This is fine.
You know, it's fine. Everything is fine. All right, Jib.
Don't we have a limit on how many people can be here?
I don't know. I mean, we're all here anyways.
All right, winner.
It's just fancy.
Well, who just turned on their screen because they just fucked it
That
up?
was Jib. You need to look at Jib.
Someone's
doing it too.
Someone's camera.
Someone's got a webcam.
Oh no.
That's true. I'm looking at.
I see a
I'm
forehead.
looking at
See
someone's
somebody. Someone's wearing a gamer headset.
Is it Liz?
It is
What?
Liz.
Wait, is my camera on?
Yeah, your camera's
Somebody's
on.
camera's on.
Okay, we saw your forehead.
Hey,
So.
now, enjoy
We
my
know you're raced now. Everything's ruined.
We know you have a black headset.
And my seat.
Okay,
Well,
now
why are
you
you so
now you're
quiet?
just now you're really quiet. Are you like?
She ran away.
She did run away.
What?
I don't know.
Whatever. Alright, it's
Okay.
not
I was trying to figure out how to answer it on my phone so I can go watch it while laying in bed.
Are you on your phone now?
I am.
Okay, we're good.
Alright.
So yeah, not a webcam, just the phone camera. The
Awkward.
Fair enough. Okay, where are we starting from, Jim? Where do you want to start from?
let's do control. We'll start at the top. We'll go Busan first.
Yikes. Alright. Actually, you can even see my mouse. I probably should screen share too if I need to point stuff out.
Okay, I see. I think that works when it's just me and you. With 8 people,
Yeah, that's confusing. Never mind. I'll just explain.
With 8 people,
Yeah.
it like splits the screen.
You can click on particular screens you want to look at.
Yeah, you can change the focus of the screen.
Alright. Starting from the left. It is Sombra Floats. Okay. So also control is really confusing because we didn't know if we wanted to do a first fight setup and or a like setup after you win the first fight. But okay, either way, we set up for Sombra Floats. And Sombra Floats is good against a lot of comps. Sombra Floats works against Dive very well. If they have like Sombra Genji Dive, it's very good. Like Sombra and Genji can't do anything. Sombra can because Sombra, but against Genji, Genji does nothing. So in this comp, it's floats, and floats, I'm gonna tell you something, you don't dive. So what you'd want to do is probably make your way over to high ground. And if you're not, you kind of hold where the D.Va's arrow is pointing on the right and hold there. Because the team's gonna obviously be engaging from main, and then when they engage from main, you want to pincer them with probably a D.Va on the left or right side, and then engage them, right? Also, Jib, if you want to say something, please talk over me.
Nah, I'll let you give out the first paragraph.
There was a big paragraph, but yeah. So your Ana would be far in the back, and there's gonna be a pattern through like all these maps. Ana will be always pretty far back. But yeah. Also, all of the circles is kind of the area Sombra wants to control by either
Liz, you were typing
farming.
furiously.
Somebody's mauling their keyboard.
Someone is spamming their keyboard.
No, it's just.
Someone's got blue switches and is smacking the fuck out of it.
I have blue switches, but I'm not typing.
I am very well aware that you have blue switches.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I had to finish my game, but
You're
I'm done
fine.
now.
You're
That's
fine.
fine. That's fine.
Okay,
So one of the weaknesses of this comp is if they come out and they're running regular go, you probably aren't going to win the first fight.
Mhm.
And that's okay. Because what you should plan to do if you come out on this and they're go is after you lose the first fight, you just swap tanks.
Yeah.
Everything else will stay. And so all that ult charge you gain from the first fight.
We'll stay, except for obviously Ryan or Diva and Winston. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Ryan's already. Yeah.
you just switch to the Ryan.
Also, a common theme you will see is Ryan should always beat Winston. If it's floats versus goats, Ryan's damage is way more. What's the word I'm looking for here? Heavy, we'll say. Ryan can easily kill a Winston when Winston just pokes a little bit and tickles you. It's not very good.
Goats has a lot of just like front loaded damage because you're gonna get, Rhine swings do a lot and Zarya's gonna be doing a lot. This is kind of a very low damage comp. And so the weakness is if they're on goats, you're gonna lose the fight. But that's not a bad. It's like okay, you lost one fight. Now you go and you reset. You pick the right thing, which is switching the tanks. If they're a multi DPS, this is good. This is very good.
This is very good against quad and Summer Genji Dive.
Yeah, it's like quad, triple, or Sombra Genji Dive.
Well, okay.
You should, in theory, win the fight.
Yeah.
Triple's a little
Triple's
iffy
a little iffy.
on what they're running, but
Yeah. If they do have triple, you want to rotate back to point. Like under where Lucio is, there's a little like cubby area on the point, and if they have triple or quad, you probably want to play really slow in there because a lot of damage.
And
Any questions?
and extra stuff, so you can see this is where we would suggest your translocator for. These are kind of some of the areas we want our Sombra to either be like controlling or farming. You can kind of either get on this high ground or this, probably not this high ground because this is where all your tanks are, and you can farm down. You can kind of control this coastal area from up, and you can definitely control point and main from up. These are more suggestions for after you've won the first fight, is to go and control this area. As far as first fight goes, trying to control these stairs and obviously point control. It's going to be your main thing.
Yeah, also Sombra, as you can see, like a common theme is like Sombra is always going to be kind of off on her own doing Sombra things. So whoever's playing Sombra, which would probably be your hit scan.
Bovine.
Yeah, it's probably going to be bovine for the most part. All right.
Yeah, be behind the enemy. Also, before we continue with this for the entire time, these are suggestions. Like, you should run this comp, but if we say hold high ground here, there's a lot of like things that will vary. Like if they have a certain comp, you're not gonna be able to hold in this position or whatsoever, right? So you're free to like move around a little bit. Like if we tell you to hold high ground, you don't have to stay up there. Like I honestly rather you move if you think it's the better idea.
Yeah.
Like,
So
a lot of
this is adaptable.
a lot of the positions are very contextual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
Open for questions for this point.
Yeah.
Two things.
I got a. Oh, go ahead.
One, can we add lazy vigilante to this? These are tank players, so you can have to know
Oh yeah, sure.
how important it is.
I'm actually here already.
You are?
I'm just
Boom.
muted. To
Yeah, I
let
added
them
him already.
talk.
I didn't even see. Oh my god, I don't see
you
your.
can see his name.
I don't see his fucking icon on the right. That's what confused me.
I see it.
I see.
I don't know
Okay.
what his icon is. It was
My bad.
second.
Okay, I didn't see him at all.
Don't worry
Anyways,
about it.
the actual question I had was if they're running, so cyber dive doesn't really work into this, but how do you, when they're running some sort of dive, it seems like I'm playing extremely split from the rest of the team. So how do we prevent me from dying?
Okay,
Is it
so
Omega heals or something?
yes,
Lucio
it would-
Diva?
yes. Mostly it's Brig. Brig would be appealing for you a lot. You know, Genji dives you. You have Bash. You have a flail. You have your Brig, right? Armor pack. If a Genji dives you by himself, one armor pack should save you, right? Brig would
You
also
gotta-
heal back and look for a Bash in one of the tanks, and you would probably drop off high ground as well.
Okay.
Most of the time, like you would play pretty passive with floats, so you would have a few people feeling for you against, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got a
realistically,
question.
yeah. Yeah, what's up?
Just a general Sombra question. Like, when you run up against like a really good spy checking diva, what's the best course of action? Do you just say fuck? Well, stop trying to get that hack off and just farm from the tanks for EMP.
Pretty much. Like, say if it's just the diva and she gets you at invids, you don't need a recall because diva by herself should not be able to kill you.
Yeah.
So you pretty much can just like ignore her. Like, and diva is your farm target too. So
yeah, so
you can
so
get
in
a
that
hack off, but like it's not probably gonna happen. You know.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so if they're tracking you down pretty good, just say fuck the hack and farm for EMP.
Yeah.
Until you can get a hack off.
If you run into an annoying diva that's like kind of cutting off your typical path, like let's say in theory you like to go, let's say in theory you like to go here and their diva's sitting here spamming this all the time. Just go somewhere else. Just do it like just do like unique pathing. Like think outside the box and be like, hey, if they're gonna be spy checking here, they can't spy check everywhere. So kind of go somewhere new. Go somewhere slightly different.
There's also a lot of mind games you can play when you like throw your translocator. If you throw your translocator and like and destroy it, a lot of people are gonna think you actually teleported, and then it'll distract them, and they'll freak out. Like Saboteur, it might work. It might. I've seen
Yeah, that is true.
in and bait trans that way.
That literally works in GM. So
yeah.
During our last scrim, when we were on Hanamura, and we had repeated failed pushes, one of the things that I noticed and only picked up on after the third time was their Sombra was camped out behind us on the high ground every time we crossed the bridge and was trying to hack Arena.
Yeah.
And after the third time, she still kept doing it, and I was just mercy, but I sprayed back there and uncovered every time.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you something really quick. If you're Sombra, never hack it on. It's not very good. But that's besides. Yeah, we can get into that at a later date. But yeah, Sombras will always do that. To be unpredictable. If you keep going right, change it up, go left one time.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
All right, I think we are good on this map. Oof, this map. Okay, Chip, you want to explain this one? This is your comp.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this is one of the variants of Clockwork where they run Orisa Hog, Mator, and then Solo Heal Mercy. That's okay. So that's the composition. Here's where basically we would suggest you put your Torb, and then one of the advantages of this or how this could work is your Hog basically can control this space by existing. And so if he can control this space by just being there, that's great. Because that means people are going to be like a little deterred to go. It's going to give more value to your turrets because they're going to be in these kind of unique spots. And how this comp is really hard to break is you never really want to approach Clockwork very aggressively.
They're very close range comp.
Yeah, it's like you are built to blow people up close. So you want to get your Orisa on point, use the drum as natural cover, and if they are pushing this area, you put your shield here. If they're pushing this area, you put your shield here. Or just kind of rotate around.
Rotate shield according to the enemy.
Yeah, obviously that should be kind of
that is a general tip for every map.
Rotate your shield. Whatever. And so another thing, and why we've added the Widow is, I mean, Widow is just really good on this point, and so you just want to hold this like kind of standard window ledge area, and then you can either grapple or just kind of slowly walk and kind of not hold a crossfire, but hold that kind of like back line.
Yeah. Also, the thing with Widow is like, if the enemy opts to dive the Widow, you have an entire team that is, able to kill any of the tanks that even get closer. Like, if anyone dives where the Widow is standing, your May can freeze them, your Torb can shoot towards them, your Hog can hook them, and the Widow is kind of a bait, slightly. Because if they do, if they do opt to kill the Widow, the rest of your team is just free to farm them. Also, it goes the other way around, where if the team opts to dive your Orisa, Torb, May, whoever, your Widow is free, because the entire enemy team's on your your like bunker part of the team, and your widow's free to look for heads.
Yeah, and so pretty much, all 5 of these people can't really be dove, or at least they shouldn't, because Torb's E gives him an extra 100 health. So if you're playing Torb and someone dies, smash your E. If you're playing May and someone dives you, go into cryo. Hog, take a breather. Orisa, fortify. Mercy, you just fucking GA away.
Yeah, that's also another reason for the widow, because Mercy has a
Mm.
lot of flight paths she can take. You know, if they dive
That's
Mercy,
true.
she can fly to the widow. If she dive Mercy, you can fly to the hog if you need. You
Mhm,
can also take a May wall to cover the Mercy if you really needed to.
mhm.
Or at least,
And Widow also has a way to get away from.
Who,
And yes, go ahead.
who would Riff be playing in this situation? Because I bet I would, like, main support, me or Singe would be playing Mercy. Who would Rifter be playing?
I can play Torb.
yeah, that's fine.
I
I would
picked
like
up.
I would like your hit scan on Widow to, like, whenever you have a Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it might suck if anyone else likes playing Widow, but I'd rather just have your hit scan on Widow. It makes things easier. So between May and Torb, Riff would be one of the two.
Yeah, and if they bring out something that counters, okay, so one of the bigger, more popular counters at this point to Clockwork that I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if Diamond teams are aware of. I'm aware of it because I've watched Clockwork play in contenders, and what contenders teams are doing against them is doing things like bringing a farm.
Yeah.
And so this does have a good counter to pharmacy. It does require you to, like, obviously hit your shots with the
Aim, smile.
smile, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's like the popular thing to do is bring a Pharah to help counter. It's like they run like an Orisa Pharah.
or triple or quad DPS. Which I honestly
Yeah,
think triple or quad DPS is the biggest counter to this because they can just insert you and you're
Yeah,
kind of fucked.
to me, if they run like Pharah, Widow, Tracer with
Yeah.
ball, I think it just kind of shits all over this.
Yeah,
You got the three. You got the Widow. If their Widow beats our Widow, then their Pharah is free, and even if our Widow beats their Widow, their Pharah still exists.
Yeah.
And they have
Mhm.
Tracer running around that the tanks can't really deal with unless you land a nasty hook. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
that seems like it would, but we can just
That
switch
that
to
is
after.
yeah, that is a weakness, but this being like your first fight strat, if you win the first fight,
I have a
like at
really
the end of the at the
good
end of the
question,
day, it is
actually.
it is a control match. So if you win the first fight, even if they are core, then you just stall on point for as long as possible, and then you've already called. It's like, hey, you see that they're quad or you've already made the internal call for everyone. Be like, hey, we're swapping to dive after this. Boom, there you go. You know the call. But until they kill all of you, die on.
yes.
Build up percentage.
Yeah,
Like,
so the thing about this comp, especially versus pretty much every comp, maybe but goats, is you have way better point control. Like if a 2-2-2 dive or even a quad DPS tries contesting point, your team is way better close range to staying alive. So, you know, in that situation where they would have a dive or a triple DPS, you kind of just hold point and you play environment. You know, use pillars, use the bongo, the drum, whatever you want to call it, with shield and body blocking his hog. Stay alive as long as possible.
That's actually the biggest question I have is not necessarily like what to do if you run into like a not a good fuck, I can't think of the word. If you run into quad DPS and you know that you can't win an outright fight with them, so you just stop point for less possible. What I think really kind of what do you do if you run into goats, somber goats, normal goats, whatever, because they have a Lucio, so they're gonna get to point first, and you can't take that fight on point against goats. So
if you're
how do you
if you're playing against goats, you kind of you have to take the slow battle
Yeah.
pretty much because
Have
you're
your
gonna
hog at this point for as long as you can before you can actually get into your good positions. You know. Sorry, I interrupted you, Jib. Continue.
no, that's basically what I was gonna say.
Okay.
And
So you can take point against goats with this, or should you
Yeah,
fold
yeah.
slightly off of it?
No, you should be fine, honestly.
yeah,
Here's it.
you should be fine. Goats does not want to approach this composition.
Yeah.
That's what Clockwork was built for, is to be anti goats. They don't want to get close because Torb's like shotgun alternate fire is really powerful. May will freeze you. They can halt you back or hook. Like there's a lot of nuisances to ghosts. They do not want to approach them.
Also May wall.
And
Like
May
if
wall,
you need
yeah.
to get to point, you put a wall down to cover you until you're in your optimal positions. So honestly, Ghost is the least of your issues.
Really?
The
Okay.
Yeah, Ghost is
biggest
the least.
issue is triple or quad.
Yeah,
It
and
kind of destroys you.
what I would suggest is like not only do you want to just stall out on try and play. This is really kind of like counter to what you usually want to do against quad. Play really aggressive on the record. Get your May in a position to freeze him and blow him up immediately. If you get a pick that quad or triple, their point presence is recognized.
Yes.
If you can blow up their point presence with a freeze, then you can you can hold that advantage for long.
Yeah, I mean, if ball lands on top of this comp, he gets frozen, he gets right-clicked by Tor, and then he gets shotgunned by Hog.
Or he can,
along with
he could even get hooked. Like he can just get CC'd out of the game real.
I mean, think about it this reverse. If you're playing Hammond, you don't want to go into that comp. Like, that's scary. You get frozen.
No, you really don't. The only thing that makes it worse is Sombra.
Yeah.
But that's
Sombra,
that's overkill.
I mean, Sombra too is you have a turret. Second she gets out of invis, your turret should be shooting her, so she should be able to get a hack off.
Yep.
Really.
No, I mean, a Sombra on our team. That's the only thing that'll make it worse for ball.
Yes.
It's just Sombra on our team. That's the
or Brig, but
yeah.
Brig
it's overkill to kill a ball.
Yes.
Any form of crowd control, which you have two of, well, three. I would consider halt crowd control. You can move a whole team around.
No, it is. It definitely is.
All right. That's clockwork. This is kind of where you set up.
Also, the thing with the turret spots is you don't want to put the turret in line of sight of the enemy. So if they want to break the turret, they have to be in an area where you can shoot them first. Because, like, say if you put the turret not behind cover, they're just going to shoot the turret for free and then push it. But if the turret is more passive behind a wall or something, the only time they're going to be able to shoot the turret is when they're fighting you already. So it's one person off of the fight. Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so you get it safe and it's supplemental damage when you're actually fighting.
Well, if you look at the turrets, yeah, like the turret is only gonna shoot you or shoot the enemy when they're pretty much on you. So the turret is your cover, kind of.
Yeah.
A couple of the turret spots have some good LOS, but most of the time it's just covering you if they engage on you.
All right, let's go to mecha base. All right, so this is your like pretty much regular comp that you can see, and this is Sombra Goats, obviously, with an Ana instead of a Zen because Froster and I agree. You should probably run Ana here. What we're expecting the other team to do is they're either running goats or they are running a multi DPS variant. Probably multi DPS because it's diamond. No offense to diamonds, but they hate goats, which I can understand. And so what we want you to do is come out lower. You're gonna roll out through lower because I know most goats v goats fights take place up here, but your Sombra is not going to get kind of like maximum value out here, and you're definitely going to get if it ends up being like goats v Sombra goats, like let's say they're goats and you're fighting up here, you're going to lose because your Sombra is not going to have really enough space to do anything. And so what we're doing with this is you're going to try and force a fight on point, and your Sombra is going to be on high ground looking for hacks and looking to control. You're going to kind of set a line of battle behind your riding shield. Is try not to go past here, this like white bar, and then this is kind of just how you should stack for goats. Is your Lucio's ready to go back and help your Briggs ready to help the tanks, and your Ana's actually on high ground here, so Ana comes out through up these stairs and is on high ground. And if they're multi DPS, immediately drop down and go back onto the lower part of stairs. If they're goats, you can just kind of hold this higher area. Kind of look for nades.
If this is a Sombra Goats like mirror, your Ana should feel free to actually literally go all the way up high ground, up the stairs, and go pretty much anywhere on the high ground, like perpendicular of the Sombra, because there's no one that can contest this Ana. The only one is a Sombra, but realistically, your Ana shouldn't die to a Sombra. You know, one nade and or a sleep to like threaten the Sombra should. You know, so if your Ana goes up top left on high ground and the team is fighting on the middle of the point, the Ana can get a big nade, and with a big nade, you push it, you speed it, you just go, right? If the enemy, like especially if the Sombra gets a hack and you get a nade, you go in. The enemy is, they are, I don't know, they're scared at that point. So you need to, yeah, they need to go in at that point. So this comp has a lot of like presence to it. I don't know what that means, but whatever. So if your Sombra gets a hack, that's when you push in. If your Ana gets a nade, that's when you push in. Why Sombra Ghost is really good. Because the second Sombra disables one of the enemy's abilities, whether that be a Rein and or Zarya, you know, no Zarya, no bubble for the Rein gets blown up. No Rein, no shield, the Rein backs up, and you just push. Same thing with Ana. If you nade the entire team, they can't do anything, they can't get healed, and you push in. Sombra Goats. It's broken. But
There you go.
I don't think there's much else to it. It's just Sombra Goats.
And
You know, you play passive until your Sombra can get a hacker, Ana can get a nade. But obviously,
any question?
Any question?
Not from me.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So,
Yeah, this is straightforward. It's just pretty much
Yeah.
all we've done is just say go low, because you're not gonna.
You don't want to go top.
Yeah.
It's-
Well,
it's-
after first fight, when do we? Where do we hold that? Back normal spot.
Probably okay. So after first fight, you probably want to put your Ana where your Sombra is, and you probably want to hold one of the chokes up front.
Yes.
One of the probably the
Where did
top of
I-
the staircase. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
normal
was
spot. Okay.
It was like this.
Well, your brig wouldn't be that far, but brig would
Well,
be,
your brig can be here to scout it. Which
well,
direction
she could
they're
just
going.
shield around the corner. You know, so she wouldn't have to go that far.
Well, yeah. You know what I mean.
That works.
And then you can always speed your brig back in. If you know, like, because your brig, like, think about the sight line here. She sees a Reinhardt here. She's like, hey, they're going top.
Yeah.
She can
Also,
just
as brig,
she can just
don't
walk
stay
back.
there as brig. You stay there
No,
to spy
yeah.
check, then you leave.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you
that's
wanna-
all that's for.
All that's for. Also, your Sombra is on the left side, because if the enemy pushes in and then pushes towards your Reinhardt, your Sombra should get a free hack. And then, you know, one ability down, you should be okay.
Yep.
You're on as far because she's a sniper. Got it.
And if they go bottom there, I can, unless Diva knows
If
about
they
it,
go-
I can get a free nade.
okay,
I can get a free nade if they go bottom, and then it's just you
Yeah, if
drop
they go
on them
bottom,
from-
you rotate to the first position or just the opposite side. Like where you're looking at right now, you just might hold the other side if they take the opposite side. You hold the opposite
Yeah.
side of the point from them, you know, regardless of what side they end up on.
Yeah.
Did all three
Okay.
boost on?
Yeah, that's all three.
Alright. Should we like alternate between control and 2CP? Might wanna.
All right, let's go Anubis then.
Sure. What do we put for a noob? So yeah. Clockwork with a widow again. Smile. Okay. Okay. So this one's kinda easy, to be honest with you. So you got Clockwork, you know, with a widow variant. Your widow stays in the back. They can't really dive her. She's too far back. And you have your Torb in your May. Same thing goes for the last control point when we said like if they dive you, you freeze them, blah blah blah, right? Your Torb turrets are in your passive spots, and yeah. Also, Jib, you have the rotate thing, don't you?
I do have the rotate thing.
Okay, so yeah, so you hold up there until they push in, and if they do push you and you need to back up, it's really slow, but you would go to the point and hold the back corner. Your widow would rotate high grounds because it's easier to stay up there, you know. And your Torb turret would either be on top of one of the two high grounds. That's pretty much it. Not much to it. 2CP is kind of straightforward.
Their point B defense.
Mm-hmm.
Point
Their
B.
point B defense.
Yeah,
Mm.
point B.
Point B. We'll go to it.
All right, so pretty much the only swap in composition is we're changing Hanzo for. The reasoning behind this is because point B's a little more close range and
Oh, I think I just invited somebody to a server. Don't join that.
what your
Mobby.
roster, you did it again.
Shh. I did.
And so why we swapped the Widow for Hanzo is there's not really any favorable defensive Widow side, but since this point can get very kind of like is Hanzo gets like pretty good at like close to medium range, especially compared to his he can definitely blow people up very fast. And you also have all yeah, pretty much all of these alts, all these alts are really good, except for Supercharger. That should be your win button because Supercharger is probably the best ult in the game. Second,
We had a
second best ult.
discussion about this. Highest win rate in Overwatch League.
Yes.
So, you know.
EMP is probably a better ult, but Supercharger's literally just a damage boost for the whole team for 15 seconds.
15.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Yeah.
And so May ult covers most of the point, I think. I don't know. May player can.
May
Liz
also
probably knows.
cover
Liz probably knows
two-thirds.
like a little bit more in
It would
depth.
cover like 2/3 of the point.
But anyways, you kind of have a lot of zoning ult.
I mean that's why Clockwork is good as well, because May and Torvalds are both super zoning ults. And if they do want to dive you, you can May ult under you, you can Torvald under you, you can Dragon your entire team if you needed to, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the thing with goats. Like this against goats, you play kind of aggro. Your DPS would play a little more aggro and look for a ton of damage. So if Orion gets like 2/3 of his health, not 2/3, like 1/3 of his health, he's gonna play more passive than your prime.
And kind of these rotates for Han, they're going dark, especially as he should rotate over here and hold kind of this aggressive crossfire into here.
Yeah, also like rotates are really based off of what the enemy has. Like you might not want to hold in some areas if they have, let's say, a widow, right? So you know, if we tell you to rotate onto this high ground and they have a widow, and you think to yourself, they have a widow, I probably don't want to be on high ground because I'm gonna get shot. Don't do it then, you know. But in this situation, they're probably gonna have, you know, goats because goats, whatever.
And
And
so
you're free to do whatever you want, pretty much.
Yeah, and so rotating back this way, you actually like if they push right side and come up and over these kind of. If you're Hanzo specifically, you go back towards everyone else. It's perfect for you because if they push into you, you're gonna be fine because you all have these sustain abilities on cool, and you should be ready to go and freeze and CC people. So if they push into you from right side, if they are pushing main or dark, the Hanzo rotates to get more of a crossfire and just put out more raw damage.
Yeah, and obviously if he's on the right side of the shield and your team's shooting from the left of the main, they can only turn one direction. So Hanzo could even rotate main if he wanted to here. Because again, like, if they opted to push the Hanzo, they can't really get him before he dies. Like, he can jump away, he can get a heal from Mercy, he can get a wall, he can get a hook to peel for him or something like that, or a pull, and he's fine. Like, the one downside about goats is you can be pretty aggressive against goats, because they're a ground comp. They don't dive, right? They can only speed towards you. So if you see them coming towards you, then you back up. But until then, you're pretty free. Kind of just shoot from an angle. Like, that's why pincering is very good. Because goats can only control, like, a certain amount of area. So, yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So Bovine, you would be on Widow for this. Are you okay also playing Han?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Hit E and kill people forehead.
That's
Smile.
pretty accurate. You have a machine gun.
Yeah, a lot of these maps, we're kind of assuming you can play the heroes. So, like, if you think, like, wait, am I on this character? You feel free to say that, because honestly, me and Jib were, like, kind of struggling on some maps. It was like, wait, can this person play this character? Like, we kind of had no idea.
That's why
Sometimes.
I think that's literally why we made the hero pool.
Yes, that is
text channel.
exactly why we did.
I don't know if this person can do that. So here we are.
Sure.
All right.
Hollywood was a very big map in that conversation.
Yeah. All right. So that's Anubis.
Mm-hmm.
and it's
You had an
good
attack for
because
Anubis, I think, too.
all right, let's go to the attack for a new.
We didn't do attack for many, but some we did.
No, I think we. Oh,
Again, it's hard to do attack.
I didn't edit this at all.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
All
We'll
right,
explain.
Frosto, talk to him. I'm gonna go
Okay.
to Frosto. I'm gonna go pee. Explain it. Explain
I
first.
can't move the camera, but go for it.
No, just go explain first point in
Yeah,
text.
I gotta go. Okay, first point. Again, this is like the only map we did attack for, I think, because attack is really hard to plan. So we kind of just expected them to have some sort of bunkers. We just said go dive for it. Whatever. So the blue lines are kind of where you're diving from. Your Ana would stay main. Your tanks would dive from different angles. And make sure when you're diving in, you make sure to like call it. So your Winston would be like, okay, I'm gonna dive in 3 seconds, and then your Diva would fly from main, right? Also, your goal here would be you're waiting for your Sombra to get a hack on. It says Bastion, but you can do Diva too. Diva, Bastion, or even Bap could be okay. Don't hack like Arisa or Mercy. You're just gonna die to the Bastion still. But you know, against this comp, it's kind of obvious. I'm sure you guys all knew this. Kill the Bastion. Bastion does a lot of damage. So you dive in. Your Lucio is actually with your tanks right now, or with your Genji and your Winston. For what reason, I don't really know. It's just kind of the way it is. So you dive from that way. You go. You'll end up on the Bastion. You wait for a hack, and then you go. It's pretty much it. There is a Widow high ground, which is kind of an issue because she's just kind of there farming, and you can't kill her. But that's about it. This is also why we didn't do attack, because literally it's just dive. Like go in. You could run a version that goats against this. It wouldn't be that good. But yeah. Any questions?
Just one.
Mhm.
And it has to do with like a sort of hero pools and swapping in certain players based on map. If we're gonna run Clockwork, we're gonna want Liz in for sure.
Okay.
But if we're gonna run Cyber Dive, we want the other two DPS in. So hero pools are kind of
Okay.
to run both dive on attack and run Clockwork on defense doesn't work unless.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So,
Liz, do you play Tracer? That is a question, because if Liz can't.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
She's not my best. I can get kills, but I cannot land pulse bombs. I physically can't. I don't understand it. It makes me want to die.
You don't play Sombra either, do you?
That's another I'm working.
Okay, it's
she's
fine.
better than my Tracer.
Okay.
If
Gotcha.
if you want to start picking up Sombra, my Tracer's still really. I've been keeping up on her.
Yeah, I'm working on Sombra.
I'll be honest, it's kind of rough for you to play Sombra because it's a lot easier having your hit scan or your off tank on Sombra because you can switch to the Sombra goats after. I mean, I guess you could play. Well, I don't know. Most teams, most.
Goldmine also breaks, so it's not.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Well, who doesn't brig?
Hey, guess what? I had a team that I was the only brig on the team, so I never got to play anything else. So it's fine.
Fucking brig jail, dude. God damn
Yes,
it.
I was in brig jail for a long time.
Please
and
let me shoot something. Yeah, please let me shoot something.
And I was shot caller, but I couldn't say anything else because Ghost was good and we needed a brig, so I had to accept it. But yeah. Because if you can't run Sombra Genji dive, Sombra Tracer dive is pretty decent. It's not as good on a lot of maps, like say Nimbani. Tracer Sombra isn't great because it's a big high ground, right? But otherwise it's okay. So if I was gonna... There you go.
We can also run what we've been doing to break bunker instead of running Genji Sombra is run triple DPS with Sombra, Pharah, and Hanzo.
Yep, that is one of the counters with a Mercy Zen and a Hammond.
Yeah.
We usually actually throw the Ana in on that one. We bust shield, nade it, and then dive.
Yeah, you want Zen because Zen's shield breaks a lot better, and he can throw an orb to somebody. But Ana works because the nade does work, but if they have a diva, just kind of.
Yeah, if they have a diva, it's risky.
It's very
Diva's she can't defensive matrix like Discord or.
Yeah,
that's also.
She's usually my main hack target, but I think we were talking about this the other day. I don't think we've ever failed to break a bunker on any of our scrims.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, bunker, I mean you're free to run that comp then. It is good. I would recommend a Zen, but if you're more comfortable on Ana,
I'm comfortable on both. It's just whether or not it depends on the map. If I can like Anubis specifically, I would run Ana because there's a pillar right next to the bastion, and as soon as that shield breaks, like we usually break one shield, she puts down a new one, we focus that shield down, and then just yeet a nade in, hit the pillar, and it hits 3 or more. And then by that point, Hanzo and Farah's damage is pretty much permanent. Sombra uncloaks, gets a hack off, finishes targets, and it's better than Zen feels, even though shield break is bigger, it feels like a longer game because they're just slowly losing health and healing it back up and getting to ults. Versus Ana, it's like if you break 2 shields successfully, that nade just wins it.
True.
Of course, Diva can't eat it. We haven't run into a good Diva. I think that's one of the things.
Yeah, probably.
That we have not run into a good Diva who has successfully eaten my nades after I
Well,
I
will tell you, the second you get into a higher ranked game, the Diva will see the shield break and then instantly Matrix, and the plan will go down the drain. But
you can also work on spawn nades. There's one where I think there's a nade you can throw it way up and then just count down and dive it.
You can do it from the stat. There's a spot from the statue on the right side.
Yeah, there's a few spots. I'll look into those.
Yeah,
this is also why we didn't do many attack strats. Can
What
we show him second? Can we show him second? Second's really easy. Guess what? It's some. Go dark. Go left side. Go in dark. Don't go anywhere else. Don't go down main. Main's a bad idea.
Well, okay. The rest of this is going to be cooldown management that we don't really know yet, but that we can't really talk about that in this overlay. We're gonna have to watch a script, do a VOD review, and then talk about cooldown management.
So do you mean cooldown management between all of your players, or like someone in particular?
Like between all of our players. Like I'm talking, like our goats. We don't know the intricacies of goats. Like we kind of know when to bubble. We kind of know when to speed amp, stuff like that. But in terms, I feel like just the goat synergy, knowing what to do when, is not. We haven't played enough of it. We've always gone for the DPS route. So
that's fair.
If we're running goats, we're gonna have to do a scrim where we just run goats.
I ran goats a lot, so I can.
Frosto's not dumb when it comes to goats.
I played goats
Frosto's
for
not dumb,
a lot of
period.
hours.
Let's just end that sentence right there.
Wow,
that's debatable. I don't know about that one.
So yeah, basically, the pros and the contender scene kind of talk about where you're talking about pathing, you're talking about cooldown rotations. Like, if we're running full goats, you don't want to Zarya bubble and use all of your DM when Ryan needs it, right? You want to go one after the other, alternate, pressure point, etc. So we don't have that system in place. We can have a pain pawn system in place, but that's it. So TLDR, it requires our goats is going to require a bit of babysitting, a bit of work before we can say just go goats forehead, go this way. We do need to learn goats.
Armor pack the Rhine when he's at half HP because it gets the most value for armor. There's a suggestion.
Liz,
also another.
There's some small things you can do.
There's a lot of small things, and I was a Brig player, so I could probably help a lot with Brigs.
Like you whip shot to trigger Inspire earlier.
That is one. You always do that before a fight starts.
Yep.
Stays up for a while.
One set engage we've been trying to work on is if they used, say they're running full goats and they just used Grav, Bomb, and Shatter or something like that, so they used way too many tank ults. So what we want to do, and what we've almost done successfully, is bait both of their bubbles and then beat engage if we have beat.
Yeah,
so if we lost the previous fight to all 3 tank ults and we have beat, doing stuff like that. But like that's what we need to learn is specific set plays to come up with rotations based on what else they have, based on what else we have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Again,
I'm gonna shut up now before I sound like a broken record.
It's your fault.
Probably too late.
But. Again, I was shot caller, so I know all these things. So I can literally teach all of this stuff. So everything will be okay.
Can we go to the next map?
Jib, that's up to you.
It's been we've almost been here for an hour. Map. We've almost been here for an hour and we've gotten 2 maps. So we may
Hey man, it's better for them to understand a map more than just basically have a very basic understanding of it. So,
it's true.
I'd rather them have good maps. Speeding through maps isn't exactly good. This map I can explain into detail, but I could be quick as well. I'll be quick because we've been here for 50 minutes. All right, this fucking stuff. All right, so this is a comp to counter goats very heavily. This is also another comp that my team ran. So it's Farah, Farah, Ashe, Hanzo, it's Farah, Hanzo, or Ashe, and then a Sombra with a ball on a Mercy. So the whole point of
We've
this
run this
comp,
before.
yeah, it's kind of popular. So the whole point is, you know, you have a lot of AoE damage, you have a lot of damage, you have a Hammond to disrupt, you have a Sombra to be Sombra. You know, I'm sorry for whoever the Sombra player is, but you're Sombra. Good luck. But
for a lot of this,
so pretty much is you don't want to take the fight anywhere but point. Kind of. You can take the fight in front of point, but like you don't really want to. So if it's goats, say we're pretending this is Sombra goats or full goats, right? You want to let them get to point, and then you want to shoot them from different angles. I'd rather have an Ashe here than Hanzo, I think, because of the TNT against goats, which is very good. But so what you would do is your Hammond would roll towards point to disrupt, you know, bait art abilities or anything. Your Pharah would go behind the point and then shoot in from the back. Your Hanzo would go from main, and your Ana would also shoot from main. And then your Sombra would probably go in from like a behind angle. And what you would do is you'd pincer goats, and if you pincer goats, goats can only look one direction, and they're kind of fucked. Like, I'll be honest. It's a lot of damage. You know, the only one that can contest point is the Hammond, so you need to kill the enemy quick. But this point is all about taking different angles. Also, it says Hanzo or Ashe. I'd rather have an Ashe, but you can do either. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I believe in Hanzo. Frosto believes in Ashe. So
I like Hanzo in general more, but at this point I like Ashe.
Our off tank player plays Ashe and doesn't play Hanzo, so it fits right into.
There you go. Well, then you're running Ashe.
Ashe fits right in.
But yeah, it's all about taking different angles.
sad.
Your Pharah needs to go behind. Your Ashe would kind of stay where she is, probably drop off balcony, and then your Sombra would be probably behind the point on the bottom, shooting it, and then your Hammond would just keep disrupting, bait out abilities kind of thing. Pretty much it. Okay. You want to explain this one, Jib?
No, because
Okay, I'll explain.
this was also your comp. Okay,
Was
so
it?
first,
Oh, it was. I'll do it then. You know. Whatever.
okay, so what Frosto suggests is Hanzo is on the roof here. This like little roof area.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all I can really remember.
Okay, well then I'll explain. Okay, so this comp, shield break comp, against probably an Orisa, because there is a 90% chance you'll see another Orisa on this point because it's well. So what you'll do is you will coordinate shield break, so you have a Hog instead of a Diva. I usually like Diva here, but if you're working on breaking shield, you know, Hog is way better than Diva. Your McCree stays on the back. You can cover the flanks, Tracer flanks, Sombra flanks. Flashbang's a big thing. Hanzo can take an angle from one of the rooftops, and you break shield at the same time, and you burst down the entire enemy team. That's pretty much all there is to it. If the enemy, you know, rotates one of the directions, which is not gonna happen, probably not. Let's pretend the enemy goes through the right side through the building. You kind of just rotate to where the Hanzo is. That's all you can do, because there's not enough time. You'll probably get booed. But that's pretty much it. You break shield, and you coordinate that. You look for picks from Hanzo or McCree, and you win. That's it. Yep. Okay, this comp. Also, I think me and Jib both came up with this one, but that's fine. Okay, so this comp, quad DPS, there's a Widow in the back, Widow stays on Arch, and the whole point of this comp is lots of damage, you coordinate dives, and you try killing targets.
Your Ashe is on the roof here as well. She's not lower.
Your Ashe and Mercy's on the roof. Your Mercy damages the Ashe. She can fly to anybody she needs. If anyone needs heals, like Hammond will probably need heals. You know, you'll heal her. One big point of this too is your Sombra needs to hack the Mega on the left side, because that is possibly the best Mega in the game according to like a point. You know, it's very good. So you'll have another thing you have to do, or you should do, on pretty much any map you have a triple or quad DPS is you need to coordinate between your Hammond, Tracer, and Sombra. It doesn't need to be all three. It can just be two. But one thing you need to do is probably have your Sombra go scout in the back line and say, there's McCree here, or a Ana. Can we go for this Ana? And then your Hammond will come in and he will land on the target, and then your Sombra will uncloak and shoot the person. And that's a free pick, right? It's pretty free. Your Tracer can help too. Also, your Tracer's on the right side, so she can come in from a different angle. It's pretty good. And yeah, coordinate dives. After you kill a target, you back up a little bit, you get your abilities back, and you can do it again. The enemy will probably be on point at this point, and your snipers will get a ton of value.
All right, so I do have a question now that we've like talked about hero pools. Who do we have playing what? Because we have main tanks on Ball, Mac, or Singe is on Mercy. So
It's kind of up to you guys.
so is off tank playing Ash, and then
Liz would be Widow, Bova would be Sombra, I'd be Tracer.
Okay. I mean, if
Okay,
you guys have a
it works out
system,
pretty well.
if you have a system, it's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
that would work.
wait,
Okay,
who's
then
on
if
Sombra
we have-
though?
Bovine.
Okay.
It
Yeah, that's
hits
fine.
game.
Actually, if we really
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to,
yeah.
I can go Sombra and Bovine can go Tracer because I'm
Okay,
comfortable
well-
on Tracer, but I'm still working on her mechanics. My
Yeah, yeah.
movement is not bad, but my mechanics are my tracking's a little bit low. So if we want me on Sombra in this specific case,
Well,
it might
mostly
be worth it.
whoever's playing Sombra, we want to be able to keep on Sombra if you want to swap to like Sombra.
Lol,
Yeah,
never mind. I'm not a
if you-
Sombra.
if you-
Yeah.
And so, and since you're definitely not doing, then you're gonna
we
probably
need the hit scanner off tank, essentially.
yeah.
Or even Liz. It's fine. One of the three. But it's probably going to be your hit scan. Well, yeah, it'll probably be your hit scan.
Is Hanzo
you'll-
substitutable for Ash? We have.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, so that covers all of our tank.
Yeah, it
players
covers it.
and what they
Yeah.
play. So we have
Well,
one of our tank subs plays Hanzo, and the other tank.
Yeah, I
sub
was looking at it
plays-
first too, and I was like, "Can we roll this?"
Yeah.
Pools, but yeah,
Well,
I guess we can.
The biggest thing about this is like pretty much if you lose the fight, you just switch Sombra Goats. It might be boring, but you do. I mean, you can switch Sombra Goats or Sombra Genji Dive. Like if the enemy has a kind of a mirror comp, you're probably better off on Sombra Genji Dive or even Sombra Tracer Dive, which I don't think that fits into your pools actually. So go Goats. It's fine. You know, 'cause Goats is good, and you recontest with an EMP, and EMP is busted. You win.
Yep.
Any questions? Mm-hmm. I hate control, by the way. Just saying.
Really?
It's so boring.
Going over all the control ones was kind of like
Hmm.
it's definitely a sleeper. You want to just go through all the controls so we can like
I mean, not really.
make sure. Well, we just make sure we have them out of the.
Okay, go Lijiang then.
We're gonna go Nepal. We're saving
Okay.
Lijiang for last.
Okay. I hate control. It's just everything you expect to happen doesn't happen.
That's why I love it.
That's why I hate it.
I
And
allow-
you
I allow-
can't. If you're a smart player that plans stuff, nothing goes according to plan.
Reaper.
Everything happens.
That's why DPS always work because you just like you just click heads and you win the fight because it's control, right?
I hate
This
it.
is why
You
they
just-
like wind up being deathmatch.
It's like you just mechanically, if you're mechanically better, you're gonna win control. It doesn't really matter what the hell happens. And I guess as a coach you hate that, but as a player it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was a player and I slayed. But
Fair
just
enough.
saying.
So, I heard someone loudly exclaim "Reaper."
That was me, yeah. I. What?
Reaper's played.
What?
Really?
Frosto, do you wanna go?
above
over
Guys,
this?
I will go over this and you can take.
Guys,
like,
we've
my
run this
answers.
comp before.
Yeah, we've done
Okay.
this before.
Blue has run this
This-
exact comp before.
We have my team even ran this comp in a like 4.2k scrims every single time we ran this map, and it always worked against 4.2k teams. So this comp is really good. It's very good. The only counter of this comp is triple or quad DPS, but even so, it's still hard to take because the only person that has point presence is him.
Yeah. Frosto muted himself, so I don't know.
Well,
It's a whoops.
we done.
He
fucked.
might have done that by accident. Pretty much how this works. This is a really good counter to Snow or like Maygoats because their wall actually plays into you very well. Because if you know, you can wall off and you just have more damage than Snowed stuff. Like he said, if they're triple DPS, you have a Moira, which can actually kind of help your tank sustain, and then you kind of do the same thing where you have a lot of point presence, and it's kind of hard to crack.
So I just have two questions. Kind of the same question. Is there any scenario where a Brig is better than a Reaper and or an Ana is better than a Moira? So are we ever
Okay.
going to want to go to Maygoats normally, or can we keep the Reaper.
So.
All right, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to go for a
All
second.
right.
Shit
Yeah.
happened. Where
Do you want me
were
to ask
we?
that question again?
Okay, so I mean, I can answer part of it. Frosto's team used to like they swapped from Moira to Ana at some point, and they started running Ana just all.
Yes.
Where
Also, did you already go over this pretty much all?
I mean, for the most.
I mean, okay, so briefly, don't leave the point. You let them come in, you wall them off, your May freezes, your Reaper kills, you bubble Orion if you need to, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty self-explanatory. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so Ana for Moira. The reason we switched Ana in for Moira is a couple reasons. Coalescence didn't get that much value, believe it or not. Because this whole comp is based off of walls, and usually when you wall somebody, you only get one person. And then if you use Coalescence, you're gonna Koa a wall. It's not that good. Also, there's that. Also, Ana does a lot more heals. Also, Ana's nade is very good, and we use Nano Blossom a lot. Nano Blossom works pretty well if it's not goats. Otherwise, it's not that bad running Moira or Ana. We opted for Ana a lot too because we had an Ana player, but I think Ana's burst heals are way better because you have 2 DPS that you can just fully heal in 2 shots pretty much. That's about it. But
So if my unscoped accuracy is good enough, I should probably be running Ana.
I mean,
maybe the reason I said Moira is because almost just full expecting them to be running like multi DPS.
That's true.
And if they're not running multi DPS, they're probably running Snow.
Yeah. So also another reason for Ana is we had ult coordination or ult combos, which would be, Nano Blade Nano Blossom, and then Blizzard and Grab. Those were our 2 combos, and we just always coordinated those. But that was the reason we did.
Never mind. You don't really plan off of Shatter.
You don't plan. Yeah, you don't plan Shatter. I mean, you can in a lot, like in goats you would, but in this comp it's kind of impossible to plan a Shatter.
Yeah.
Especially when you're inside.
I also like Moira here because if they show up on Snows, she has Fade, and Ana doesn't have like an escape ability.
Well, Ana would be playing more in stables though, instead of inside the point.
She can also get run down in stable.
That's true. Yeah, that's why it's a little iffy. They both work.
Yeah,
okay, it's gonna be situational. That's all I need to know. I know
pretty much down to you. Like
I know Ana has a lot of value. Like they're gonna be so close, so I can land a sleep dart, and then the sleep animation, even if they get woken up immediately, will generally chain into a freeze. So
on my last team, we ran that comp almost exclusively on that map for like 2 months.
Good.
It's good. And then
if you got in first, you won. That was it.
Yep. Yeah, so Reaper May is also a counter to Snows. So
you run it on Legion.
Yeah, we did run that on Legion.
Interesting.
We switched to a Junkrat instead of a Reaper at one point, and that's actually the comp we ended up on. So more damage, and Tire is pretty good. So.
Okay.
Yep. All right, Jib, you got this one.
All right. Well, this one's pretty self-explanatory as far as the heroes chosen. We've put Hanzo on the right side because he can wall climb up and down and kind of he can kind of control these high ground sight lines and put a lot of pressure on him. Obviously, Pharah we wanted to put her kind of around the elephant so that, let's say they come out as triple DPS and they have a Widow, you can like immediately like concussive blast off the elephant and get more. One thing I think we started doing it here, and you'll kind of start to see it come up more. We've actually put Sombra's translocator here. So if the Ana gets dove, she backs up, and then the Sombra translocates to come and help. And so it's more of a peel translocator to come help, to come help your teammate. Obviously, we've put Ball on point because he can either swing around or kind of just be very disruptive. Obviously, if the other team is goats, you definitely should win this. You have a lot of spam, you have a lot of harassment from Sombra, and you have a lot of things that can help you win a fight. if they come out as triple deep, this is also kind of a reoccurring theme. If they come out as triple DPS and you're triple DPS, you kind of just have to win your match.
Yeah.
Because if you don't win your matchup, then you're just gonna get kind of.
Triple DPS versus triple DPS is kind of just who gets the first pick. There's literally no strategy behind it. You
Yeah.
can coordinate a dive between Sombra and Hammond, but against triple DPS, you're not really able to dive anyone but.
Yeah, there's too much going on.
Too much going on, too much damage. Like,
Yeah.
If you lose the first fight to triple DPS mirrored, you just swap D.Va in and call it a day. You keep the same DPS, or do you swap?
You wouldn't run Hammond D.Va. It's not very good.
So monkey D.Vas keep the Sombra Pharah.
Yeah, you could. If so, a counter to triple or quad is dive tanks, 2 DPS, and then on a Lucio, or healers don't really matter that much, but I'd say Tracer Sombra counters quad or triple way more, because say if they have a Pharah, Tracer can contest the Pharah way more, and if you had a Genji instead of a Tracer, it doesn't really work against a bunch of DPS. Also, your dive tanks can keep you alive while you're looking for a hack or something like that. So if they did run triple or quad, I would run a 2-2-2. But if you're not comfortable in that comp because of hero pools and stuff like that, you're probably better off going as Sombra floats. So you'd drop everyone but Sombra and Ana.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing for this, because you aren't quad, and so you can't coordinate between the 3 people of a Sombra, Hammond, and you want to listen a lot to your Pharah and your Han, because if they land body shots on squishy targets, like a direct hit body shot, if they land one of those two, then try and coordinate diving a person that's low. Because you can take
Jim, the end of your sentences are cutting out on your mic.
Sorry.
They weren't for me.
Yeah, they've been doing that for me too.
Yeah, for a while now. Yeah, I still know what you're saying, but it's the end of the sentence is just silence.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I have on push to talk, so just.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah.
That is probably why. Just bear with me. But anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, just listen to your Pharah and your Hanzo. It's pretty much all I could suggest. Is like listen for low targets. Try and keep comms clear enough that it's not like this like panicked, because you see that a lot in lower ranks. Is that panic call of like Ana's one. That doesn't exactly help your team. Say like Ana's low coast, Ana's low dark, Ana's low mega. Like try and pair location a little bit with your calls, and then your team will definitely start following up more. Because if you just say person's one on the map, I will definitely think in my head, that's great. I have no fucking idea where that person is though. and so I don't know what to do about it. Like,
yeah.
Thanks for the info, but like, what do you want me to do?
You need to make sure you keep comms clear so you can have your Hammond and your Sombra coordinate dives too. Like you don't need the Tracer, because honestly between Hammond and Sombra you should have enough damage. Especially if they're not getting healed for. Like if you land on, let's say, a McCree or something, just pretend no flashbang involved. He should be dead. Because you can pretty much kill a McCree as Hammond alone. And Sombra shooting 20 rounds into a McCree too, he's dead. Then you're up 1. So.
Then you just snowball your up 1 advantage.
Yep.
Alright, that's
that map.
That's that map that I've definitely forgot the name of.
I can't think of it either, to be honest. But it doesn't matter.
Well, hold on. This is Sanctum.
Shrine.
That's
Shrine.
Yeah, that's the one. First one's Village. Okay.
Alright.
I haven't played Overwatch scrimming for like 500 hours already. Smile. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay. This comp. Did we both come up with this one, too?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe? I don't know. So, pretty much you have a lot of shield break between your Pharah, Hanzo, and Zenyatta. And so, we're betting large money on the fact that they also have an.
Which is very likely, like on Will, where not to be rude, Diamond players will see a map with environment and will probably say Orisa.
There is
Happens
some.
often.
Yes.
Orisa is good here. I mean, even at higher ranks, she's pretty good. You could see floats here. We used to run floats a lot. You rotate right side and you just go around on top of them, but you probably won't see it that much.
Yeah.
Um,
And even if you do see floats, you
should be okay.
you aren't you aren't sitting ducks. It's like you can threaten floats. Like you're not awful.
Yeah. Your pharmacy is free. They can't
Yeah.
be touched. They float above. They get free shots in. Your Hanzo breaks shield, goes for side shots on the enemy team. Your Zen is Discord. Your Hog is shield break, and your Reset pulls. I mean, it's this comp is pretty much like I mean, you don't have a McCree, you have a Pharah, so you pretty much break shield. Like let's pretend they have a bunker of some sort with an Orisa. You break shield. As soon as the shield breaks, your Zen looks for a Discord on someone behind the shield, and you can probably maybe get a shot on that person. So you need to make sure you're counting down. Like, okay, I'm gonna shoot shield in 3, 2, 1, and then you all shoot shield. That shield should be broken within 2 seconds, and then the enemy team is just standing there like, what do we do? And while they're trying to back up, it's all hectic. You probably should get a lot of damage in. Like in this comp, your Pharah could build barrage within the first 30 seconds. There's a chance. I wouldn't say plan for that, but with this comp, with shield break, it's kind of helping the Pharah build ult very quick. Also Hanzo, but Hanzo's dragon is okay. Barrage is pretty good. Yeah, pretty much it. Not much else you can do.
Yeah. Pretty standard stuff, if I'm honest.
I mean, you'll see a common theme between Orisa comps where there's not a lot of planning. It's kind of just break shield. I mean, that's kind of what the meta is coming to, sadly. It's just break shield, kill
break
them.
shield. I have pull. Do you have hook? I have pull. We
Yeah,
miss
you can
pull.
coordinate that. Make sure
We're breaking
you
shield.
two
We're breaking shield again. Pulling in 3.
Yeah, make sure you guys are coordinating next. Hook, hook pull is kind of no. You can get a Discord on that too. That person's dead. Like,
yeah.
Actually, I have a quick question about comps and stuff like that. Is there ever? I don't know if this really fits our playstyle at all, but if we substitute one of the DPS here, or even one of the Zen for a Diva to just eat their pulse, is that ever something we could potentially do? I probably would be doing on Diva. I'd be on Hog in that case, but
so
is
you
it
want
reliable to eat?
a Diva instead of Hog?
No, Diva instead of either the Zen or the Hanzo.
Okay, here's where I would say that's kind of a mixed bag. That's very contextual as to what they are running. Running triple tank solo heal Mercy isn't bad. It's like that can definitely work.
It's also not good.
It's also not great. But one of the kind of like downfalls of that is your Mercy has to stay away from your Pharah a lot.
Yeah.
And so she's not going to be getting that like
soul pocket. All
Yeah,
right, Jib cut out again. It's okay though.
Okay, my cat hit the mute button on my mic, so yeah.
All right. Well.
So here the Mercy can do 2 really kind of like finite things that can help swing a shield break, battles. She can either be damage boosting the Pharah all the time, or she can damage boost Hanzo's E.
Probably Pharah though.
Probably Pharah. I mean, well,
if
Hanzo's
I know the E's going out, you get a lot more from that, and then
yeah,
hopping
you
back
can
on the
switch.
Pharah.
Yeah,
you do, especially because if you're planning to also don't really use E to shield break. Use E right after shield break to like burst that person down.
Nah, I mean you
can
use shield break.
Okay, well think about it this way, Frost. If you you break the shield just as fast no matter what, and then their shield goes down, you land a Discord on Orisa, and your Hanzo ease them as they're trying to back up. Like you're gonna blow up that Orisa very fast.
Yeah, you ease her fat head and dead, dude.
Fair. Yeah, I mean you could. I mean, also think about it the other way around. You break shield even faster, whether that be half a second. Maybe you'll kill them. I don't know. Yeah, Jim's probably right though.
I mean, I think it depends. I'll be honest. I think doing that really depends on what other support you're running. If you're running Zen, I think saving E for when the shield actually breaks is smarter because you discord the target, all that spam goes into the target.
True.
But if I'm running Ana, which in some cases, like if the tanks take a lot of damage,
Yeah,
you
we
might
need
want to
that
main
shield
healer on the
down now.
tanks. Get the shield down now, land the anti, and it doesn't matter how long we take, as long as it takes no more than 4 seconds for the anti to not wear off. So
No, that's fair. That's fair.
if you're running, because there will be times where I think personally I would want to run Ana here because it guarantees that the Mercy can stay with DPS. If the tanks are taking too much damage from off angles, I can keep them up a lot easier.
That's true, but I think that's the difference between an aggressive pick and a passive pick. So
Yep.
Zenyatta's the aggressive pick is you're looking to kill something. You're looking to land a Discord, break the shield faster, get a. If you're running Ana, you're playing a lot more passive. You're saying, I'm not gonna add my off support's damage to break the shield. I'm gonna add what my off support's job, like all her job, or all their job would be, is to heal your tanks.
Yeah.
And so one of those things is like, don't be scared. It's like, yeah, maybe your Orisa gets kind of low, but you got 3. It's like, I'd rather have you get 3 picks and play more of that aggressive.
That's fair.
Yeah, and that's why.
Than being scared and being like, oh, I have to have an Ana to heal everyone up. It's like,
Yeah. Okay.
That's
We've
also
run solo
why.
heal a few times fairly well.
Yeah, you can. It's just like it's not optimal. Like it's kind of risky, especially if your solo healer gets picked. You kind of just lose. Like, it's kind of just over. Like that's
and
why.
you also have Roadhog who has like
Heals.
take a breather. It's like,
Yeah.
he can kind of heal himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I would opt for a Zen over an Ana. One, sightlines, because you're kind of behind a wall, and you're gonna be shooting shield probably because there's gonna be an Orisa.
Yeah.
2 Discord. 3, you can put a harmony on somebody and shoot instead of Ana having to do one or the other, right?
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when we're about to break shield too, you can start a charge shot throw in there, and shit's just gonna die.
Yeah,
And
that's why.
if you're not getting kills, then you're not winning.
Yeah,
You
that's
got
why
it.
like Ana versus Zen Goats is like passive versus aggressive. Zen Goats is super aggressive because you can heal and you can shoot at the same time with harmony on somebody, blah blah blah, right? But Ana can only heal one person. She can't shoot the same. She can't shoot at the same time while healing. Is what I'm trying to say.
Cooldowns are a lot stronger though, so you kind of have to play off of those.
Yeah.
It is passive until you land those abilities, and then it's all in.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Zenyatta is also damage. In theory, he's damage boosting everyone on the team by like 20. It's like 25%, right?
By a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 other people simultaneously.
As soon as you get the Discord down, like you're damage boosting everyone.
5 people.
Then you also have Mercy. Then you also have Mercy damage boost. So like in theory, you should be doing a shitload of damage.
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
Actually, I think a Mercy damage boosted rocket on a Discord target actually one shots, if I'm not mistaken. Think it's enough to break it, or is it nano damage boost?
Nano damage boost does. I think it's like 180, 170 or something like that with the damage boost. It one shots Tracer.
Yeah, it'll one shot Tracer.
You can one shot the hell out of Tracers.
Yeah, if it's damage boosted, it goes to 150, and then discorded brings it to another 180 ish.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, Riff. The other thing, if you run on Ana here, like, yeah, if you do hit that nade, it's not gonna give a shit if it took so long to down the shield that they're gonna have the next shield up anyway.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
I don't really like.
I think that's fair. I think the Zen is better here.
Fair enough. All right, where are we off to, Jib? Oof, Oasis. I mean, I'll be honest. A lot of these maps are very similar, so we can pretty much speed through the rest.
Yeah,
of these,
we can definitely speed through Oasis.
Like we've explained all of these theories already. Triple DPS. You've already seen it.
It's like everyone take a good 30-second look at.
Take a good look. You have a Mercy arrows, signifying she can fly between. You're on this high ground, heal anyone she has to or damage. Your Tracer flanks right side, your Somber flanks left side. You try getting on a target. That's pretty much it.
Tracer instead of the Asher. Or Hanzo doesn't fit into pools, but I think we can work on that. We can also have one of them pick something up.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the one comment I have is that Tracer and Somber together don't. If I'm on Ana here, it doesn't fully fit, but that's not the end of the world.
Because your off tank doesn't play Tracer.
No.
Okay, makes sense. I mean, you could run a Hans. Yeah, no, you could run a Hanzo here then. No, would work.
It's
Like, if
also-
any of these comps don't work, you can just sub one out. It shouldn't ruin the comp too bad.
We can also work on, if we really think this comp is strong, just have them pick up Tracer. It's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is another thing. Is like if you just try it out, and since we've kind of explained, someone just straight up left.
Unlucky.
Damn, yeah, very unlucky. Anyways,
Because we're boring.
If you just try it out and you understand, it's like, hey, I'm supposed to kind of play over on this side of the, kind of, hey, I'm supposed to do this thing. Then maybe you will feel more confident in picking. It's like we're not looking at you completely blind, saying, learn Tracer, learn everything about Tracer. No, we want you to like play it on this map, play it kind of in this style, kind of on this side. And so maybe that can help you ease into the transition of learning a hero. And so instead of just looking at you saying, hey, do this, it's like, hey, play exactly like this.
That's fair. That would work.
Maybe you can open up an opportunity.
True. All right.
Okay, so I think this is the first time we run our plan to run Sombra Tracer.
Didn't we? Have we done Lijiang yet?
No, Lijiang
well,
was
then, yeah.
last. Yeah, it's also on Lijiang.
Yeah, it's also on Lijiang. Okay, well, this is an issue because people can't run stuff. But let me think. Yeah, well, it kind of is an issue. But so you kind of have options here. You can run just Summer Floats. Summer Floats is actually really good here, but we kind of knew you guys were a DPS comp team, so we wanted to give you guys some options. But if you run into a comp like this that you can't play, I would just honestly sub out Tracer for a Brig and you'll be fine. But this comp also works. So I'll explain this comp really quick, even if you can't run it, but it's fine. So what you would do is you see that the big white circle. That is where you want the fight to happen, or that's kind of where you expect the fight to happen. And this is kind of the same thing as Hammond and Sombra. All you want to do is have your Sombra behind, and when the team pushes in, you would coordinate a dive. That's pretty much it. Your Sombra would uncloak, your Winston would jump in, your Tracer would engage from the right side, and you guys will all pincer the same person at the same time from all different angles, so the enemy doesn't really have a lot of options. That's pretty much it. Also, your Ana's in the window. If the enemy doesn't have like a sniper or anything and it's like goats, your Ana's kind of free to go up top, especially if they don't have a diva. Like, yeah, your Ana can pretty much go anywhere. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You speed in, you jump on a target, you kill somebody. That's how you play dive. Pretty much. You know what, Jib? You came up with this. Go for it.
I didn't come up with this. You said.
I think I subbed out one person.
You subbed in the May. That's literally the only weird part about it. The rest of this, play Orisa.
Oh, I did. Is Hanzo on the right side? Fuck. Okay.
You're gonna
Never
play
mind.
Orisa. You're gonna
I have a bad memory.
Pharmacy and have your Sombra. And then Frosto suggested have a May as an anti-flame.
Okay, I will explain this then. Okay, so yeah, we had a Hanzo instead of a Mei, but pretty much it's just another DPS comp with an Orisa instead of Hammond. You play more passive, kind of. By passive, I just mean your Orisa and your Zen. Yeah. So your Pharmacy would flank kind of left side and/or just floating in the air because they're Pharah. The Pharmacy, whatever. Your Sombra would flank because it's Sombra, doing Sombra things, looking for a hack, helping your team out, blah blah blah. Right. We also have the health packs marked. Hacked health packs because these are actually pretty good health packs. If I was gonna hack like any health pack out of the three first, probably the one on the right side because it's actually the most like accessible. But yeah, it's besides the point. So we have a Mei instead of a Hanzo. The explanation behind this is one, you don't have a second tank. So if you need a contest point, you can as Mei. Because Mei's pretty much a tank. She can wall in a corner and just contest if she needs to. She can cryo. She has 250 health, and she's on a squishy. Right? That's one. Other thing is if she can help with the backline with Zen. I'm sure you guys all know Zen is pretty diveable. He will be the first person to be dove in this comp by far, and literally no one else will be dove. So if they had a dive, you put a wall in front of the Zen, you freeze a tank, your Mercy can get back in time to heal the Zen, and you're pretty good, right? Like your wall doesn't have to be always an aggressive wall. You can always use wall as a passive thing to split the enemy away from your team. You know, instead of splitting the enemy with your team so you can kill them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Use your left click to heal, not to heal, what? To peel.
This
And
is
yeah,
it's actually
Buff-
really
Buff
Sorry.
May, make her left click heal.
and peel.
heal and peel. This is actually really similar to what they didn't run it on this map, but Valiant ran it on Oasis in the semifinals yesterday.
Because they're
Um,
smart and they believe in Orisa.
Except I believe they still had the Orisa solo tank, but they had an Ana instead of a Zen, and that's it. They
You know
had KSF on May. Oh, they sometimes subbed KSF over the May. They subbed the May into a Brig sometimes. They ran May for the first time in Hollywood, and it epically failed against Sombra Floats. But they ran it again on Oasis against something else, and it worked out. So it's a.
You know, we came
If
up
you
with
wanna-
this before the game yesterday. So I guess
If you
it's
want a
nice.
bot of professionals doing it though, like that,
Yeah. I was
Um,
watching. So
that
I
does
see.
exist.
Also, yeah, running Brig instead of May is also viable. That is something you can
It does
do.
the same thing.
Yeah,
Realistically.
it accomplishes the same goal.
It's more
pretty much-
passive though. It is a more passive
That's-
version of it
that's
because it's more
true,
healing.
And I think
more-
May does a lot more in Diamond.
Yeah.
Because, you know, having the best wins in the world on your team means that May does fuck all.
Also, you have a May player. So
Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
also
you
you
do.
have a May player, so
That helps a lot.
we tried
easy-
incorporating May.
easy clap.
You know.
One
our
of the things
best.
to point out here is that Liz is both our May player and our Pharah player.
Moira can Farah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was about to say, can't the off tank Farah? I thought
Yeah.
they could do that.
Or
Well, we have-
that hard.
Moira can Farah. If Lazy's in though, he doesn't Farah, but I think you could sub Farah out for Hanzo and it'd still be okay.
I
Yeah.
also am not terrible at May, so.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Again, another one of those things up to you guys. As
Me.
long as all 3 of your 3 players can run those 3 characters, it should be fine. Only one's iffy is kind of Sombra, because I want your hit scan or off tank on Sombra, but every other character doesn't matter, because you're realistically going to switch to recontest anyways.
Yeah. This map might turn into a goats v goats. So keeping the Sombra and having EMP,
Yep.
and keeping the Zen actually having trance is really. That's
Pretty
why when we ran certain bunker. Before we had coaching and stuff, we actually ran. I think it was Torb Zen goats instead of Bastion. We ran Torb and Zen,
Huh.
just because when they ran dive and we held for 3.5 minutes, and we swapped the goats on second, we kept trance.
Hmm.
That has come in
Yeah, there was
clutch.
that one time we didn't, and we got completely fucking demolished because we didn't have trance
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's
for a second
it-
fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
You having fun there, Jib?
Huh? Yes.
I think Jib's bored, not gonna lie. It's okay, Jib. We're almost done.
Alright. This is just off topic. Houston actually used to do a really weird strat. They may have only done it like once or twice. It was a HLC strat. They ran Orisa, Bastion, Zarya, Diva, Briggs.
Mhm.
And so basically they just had everyone else on goats except for your Orisa and Bastion. And they like ran Jake specifically on Bastion, so he just swapped it for a second. It did work. I wouldn't suggest it because I have no idea how they made it work, but
We should
We
do
had-
Horizon after
We
this.
had a really, it's actually on this map, we had an interesting Farah pharmacy goats, but it worked. But if it didn't work, it was really awkward to switch to normal goats.
Yeah.
You know the funny thing about that is the comp we had before this comp was Pharmacy with Brian, Zarya, Brig, and then Ana. So, and then I told Jib it wasn't very good. So,
It did. We actually ran it with like Lucio Brig,
okay,
with Lucio Brig with a pharmacy too. So
interesting.
and
Ground
worked.
had to play really fucking slow for it to work.
we
Yeah.
basically
And fast we got
acted like a
fucked.
bait.
Yeah,
We played the tanks as a bait, and we had Lucio and Brig as like the 2 peel supports. So the tanks would go in, and the team would realize that we have Farah and Rhine. So they're like, "Oh, we're goats. Just fuck up their Rhine forehead," and then we would speed back as fast as we could, as far as we had to, and then like Brig flood them back, boop them back, And in the meantime, as they're trying to like speeding onto Rhine, almost killing him, the Pharah gets a pick or two in that meantime. So that was their game plan with that comp. But because it put like me on either Brig or Lucio, I couldn't. When we wanted to swap to normal goats, I would lose my ult charge going to a flex support. Mercy would lose their ult charge. It was a mess to switch to a normal goats with. So
Yeah, it was
that
all or
was
nothing.
part of it.
yeah,
The issue with that comp is like it doesn't exactly counter any comp. Like you could say it counters goats a tiny bit, but at the same time, if it was a good goats team, all they have to do is push your ground unit and you lose. Like the Pharah can't do enough damage quick enough
Yeah, like
to like save your team.
yeah, pretty much all they would
That's-
have to do to split you is the D.Va would fly at the Pharah once while they sped at your like ground unit, like
And then
Froster
you
said.
just die.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
then it's like
Yeah, I
okay,
think
well you're. But then that's the moment where your Pharah doesn't get that chance to get those extra, and so she was basically useless.
that's true. I think that the plan is to not let that speed kind of happen. Like we have the Lucio and the Brig there to land all the boots and to speed them back, and the Ryan's like, of course he can't hold shield him back up, so that's a bit awkward. He has to like completely 180 and turn around, and so maybe it doesn't work as well as we thought. But it's we were kind of baiting them into that push the ground units thing, but hoping to survive it long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would probably work. It's also diamond, so it probably would work. But this is what we just settled. This is what we settled on instead. So this is intended as an anti-multi DPS. We're thinking it's probably like it's night market, it's diamond. They're probably on
Saying
some
that a lot.
DPS here. Well, that's
mean,
literally
it
that
is
was
diamond.
literally our thought process. Was what are they gonna run here? What's the 60% chance of what the other team runs? Probably
DPS.
multi DPS.
Mhm. Because DPS is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fun. Okay, but another. Let's go over this quick because it's another one of those maps with the concept you guys have seen and we've explained. Triangle is signifying where you should dive, right? That's pretty much it. Your Ana's on high ground. Your Mercy can fly between the tanks and the Mercy and the Ana. Your Sombra takes right side. Your Tracer goes left because there's more cover. Keeps
Your
her alive
Sombra
in
has
there.
her translocator for peel for the Ana as well. So
Yep.
it's up here.
So she
It's
gets
a-
recall and then
Yeah,
attack
it's
anybody.
it's in upper, so you can like throw
Yeah.
it up the stairs and it'll land in this generalized area.
Yeah, it's a good strat. Recall. Ana's getting dove by a diva. Let's say attack the diva. The diva has to back up. Your Ana's fine. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just essentially a normal dive. You dive in the triangle. You kill somebody. That's pretty much it. It's
And
a lot
then,
simpler, but it probably won't work that well, to be honest with you.
yes, and then because we had the time to do it, we also have post first fight win position.
Yeah.
So this is kind of where you'll all rotate. Diva will rotate to the high ground. Sombra's going to control coast in a very aggressive Sombra position. Your Tracer can kind of hold this area.
She's below, by the way, not on top.
Yeah, she is lower.
She could be up top, but it's not that useful.
Your Winston is kind of using the natural cover of the lion, and your Mercy.
In the middle, because she can still fly back.
And so right here, everyone's kind of ready to go in all directions. Let's safe bet. Your Tracer has all 3 blinks right now. Let's say all 6 of them show up right here. Your Tracer can just blink out and kind of like retreat and then reset and get everyone ready to die. If they want to come coast, your Sombra's like, hey, they're all coast, and you can all collapse this.
And
If they come through the choke, you're like they're getting spammed from these 2 directions, and that'll just be a nuisance. Probably force out a cooldown that kind of triggers a go button.
Pretty much it.
So one question here regarding my position. What if they have Widow? I kind of just die. I just kind of just fucking feed Widow.
Well,
where I
kind
am.
of if they have Widow, you want to immediately start using the natural cover. You want to back in here.
Okay.
You want to back this way.
Or
And you want to call or below, and you want to call that to your team. It's like, hey, I have Widow. The sight lines have changed pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean your diva should be up top anyways. So if a Widow is to like push up there, I mean, any angle Widow pushes, like, you should have a person there. So, like, realistically, you shouldn't be the first one to get shot. And somebody should call that there is a Widow before you start peeking, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
only way you're gonna get fucked there is if she hook shots from spawn, pretty much.
Which is just
Okay.
kind of just unlucky if it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
Okay.
Nothing you can do.
that's more of a go next.
other than that,
thing.
this is like a not that good of a Widow map.
Yeah.
You won't. You
Okay.
might see a Widow on high ground, but again, that's just up to your tanks.
I guess if the diva is holding high ground, there's no way the Widow can just kind of like walk there for
Yeah.
free.
She won't push.
Okay.
And
Diva's
if it's a first fight, Widow, like they come out of spawn with it for some reason. If you want to stay on high ground, being over here still kind of gives you sight lines to heal. And so since your team is trying to force this fight, the Widow's not really going to get a sight line on you from this balcony. And so yeah, the only way she would get a sight line is she's like on point, which is definitely
Yeah.
not where the Widow's gonna go.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Fair enough. Okay, this isn't actually
So
a
if
good
they-
Widow
yeah.
map.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I mean, also just literally just ask your team to tell you if they have a Widow or not, and then your team could be like, they don't have a Widow, you're fine, or they have a Widow, be careful, or whatever. Yeah, simple.
Cool. Okay.
Like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All
so
right,
this
well-
is something Frosto's team ran specifically, so I'll let Frosto go over it.
Well, again, another quad or triple DPS, but there's a strat behind this. So, this is a strat that we came up, or we didn't come up with this. We were told to run actually, but whatever. We made it work. So it works against goats. It works against triple or quad DPS if you run it right. So as you can see, there is a translocator at the bottom of the screen. It's a peeling translocator. If you're on a stove, you're on a back up towards it, and then your Sombra get peeled. It's a reoccurring thing, right? So your Sombra, your tracer is right side. And you might ask, like, can I put a Sombra right side? Don't put Sombra right side. Just saying. I'll explain in a second. But you put your tracer right side, and if the enemy is running a quad DPS or a triple DPS, you'll probably have somebody go that way, right? You might see a Sombra, you might see a tracer over there. You should never put a Sombra over there, but put a tracer over there, right? And if somebody does come that way, which is probably one person or two, it's actually really good if it's two people that go that way because there's two people out of the fight. Then your tracer can either take the 1v1, say if it's another tracer, you just take the 1v1, hopefully you win. If you don't win, it's unlucky, but the other person's out of the fight. And then also, if there's two people that come that way, you just back up. And the thing about that that's actually really good is they have two people on the right side when the fight is probably happening on the left. So there's two people out of the fight, and the rest of your team should be okay. Also, the other option that might happen, nobody might go over there. And if that happens, your Sombra needs to blink through main, or through the point, and then help your team on the left side. This is another one of those things where, okay, well, this is after fight, but
Look at her go, though.
that's true. It's another one of those things where your team needs to coordinate dives. You know, Hammond and Sombra will do something. There's a very good chance that your Hammond will go in and get hacked, but that's also why your Sombra is there. So if your Hammond gets hacked, your Sombra can hack somebody to help your Hammond stay alive. You know, it works. Your Ana's also far away to look for heals or shots on anybody. She can also counter Pharah, you know, decently. So Pharah has to play pretty safe. What else? Yeah, the pharmacy. The pharmacy needs to play behind the pillar in the middle, or the whatever you want to call it in the middle, the dojo or whatever.
Giant
two
skybox tower.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, right? If they have a widow, you know, you play behind it and then peek occasionally, get some shots, and the widow's not going to hit you. Same thing with Ana. And this whole comp is literally just playing off of picks from anybody and or lots of damage for your Pharah. Like, your Pharah is the most important person in this comp, probably. Maybe. Sombra or Pharah. But your Pharah needs to land a shot onto somebody, and then your Sombra, your Tracer, your Hammond, one of the three can pick off the scraps, you know, kill anyone that's low. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, like, you know, just do it. Like, again, I've already said this, but a lot of these strats are kind of suggestions. So if I say go right side, you're free to rotate, you know. Super situational game, something might happen. The entire team might go right side, then you're gonna have to rotate, obviously. You know. Yeah, that's it for that. It's DPS comps are kind of self-explanatory. Do damage, don't die, gotta kill.
Yeah. And then
Alright,
you have
Chief.
post first fight win positions where you
Oh yeah,
put
forgot about
your Sombra over in this bush, so she can kind of scout here and maybe get off a hack if they're going bridge. Your ball just kind of stays in the same spot. Tracer is less of a kind of a right side lurker, and she's kind of more of a point player because now she's ready to either go white or go bridge. So yeah, she's in that lurk position. I said put the fire here because now you can concussive blast off of cover and kind of rotate. You can also land spam shots into main pretty easy. And let's say they have a widow, it's like you can just dip back into the natural cover a lot easier than being over on this side of the map.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also, your Hammond's in that area because he can get a really good grapple off of the big ass building in the middle. So,
This thing.
It's pretty big, and you can get pretty good elevation. So.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I'm gonna go to bed while you explain this one. So.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my dumb strat.
This looks special.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There is a Symmetra. I was trying to look for her.
She is. Well, okay. I don't know if she should be over there, but she can be. But Jib explained. I'm not.
All right. Okay. So
bothered.
here's what you do. You do the very very old main support tech where you're going to speed everyone out of spawn as Lucio and then catch up. Your traditional thing. Very traditional thing to do. Because you don't want to use your TP out of spawn or use your TP early. What you want to do is after you speed out of spawn, you want to TP from here to the high ground, which it'll
reach. We tested this,
and
so don't worry.
So the sim actually doesn't want to go up. She can kind of stay on the ground, and she's gonna put her turrets kind of on the bottom of the stairs right here,
against the stairs,
kind of like tucked against the stairs in the classic sim microwave where you've got all three next to each other. And so these turrets specifically can reach all the way to the period.
Also, let me remind you, you're coming from the right side, so the enemy is going to be coming from the bottom. So the turrets cannot be shot until they are kind of towards Sim side of
towards Sim side of the map.
Yeah.
And so you're going to TP your Orisa and Bastion up here, and they can actually obviously they're going to control a lot of sight lines. That's pretty clear. Your Baptiste is actually going to be used to contest point because he can super jump back up, and so he can drop down here and jump back up if you need to contest.
Your immortality to contest, you can too.
Yeah, you can do that. Your Sombra is going to be here on the backside of stairs, so if they try to come down through server, she can get hexed. If they try and come through main, she can harass them there.
So, real quick, I'll let you continue explaining because this is your strat, but the biggest blind spot against this team is behind the pillar. So the pillar, like perpendicular from Bastion, that is like the one big blind spot, and that's why the turrets are there. Because if anyone hides behind the pillar, they have to turn around to get the turret. That is also why your Sombra is below, because she can shoot them if they're behind the pillar. And also, that's why your Sim is on that side, because she can just right-click them.
Yes, another thing.
She should have another TP by now. Too.
Yeah, by the second like round or second cooldown of, teleporter, you want to actually put it here because you can use this as cover and TP up here, and so your Sim can come out and right-click people and get some of that kind of off-angle damage, and then she can teleport back and forth. That's kind of what she's in charge of. And not only is your Sombra here to harass people in these kind of purple circles, she can also draw them out. And so if they're Snoats or Goats or Sombra Goats or multi-DPS, drawing people out this way is going to get them out from behind the pillar. And so having these two DPS to draw them out is good, because then you get them into your Bastion sight line, and so they're kind of there to bait people into your sight line. It's a special strat. Try it once. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work,
Big is gonna cry if he doesn't get to play Sim here.
play like if this doesn't work, play Sombra Goats. I don't know.
I'm sad to say, I'm pretty sure Biggs will be the Sombra, but sorry,
I don't know.
Wait,
it's the only way it's gonna work out with the team you have. So it's unlucky.
what would we have?
Yeah.
Who would we even have in? Because like, we don't actually have a sim player. Then I was thinking that we don't have somebody who even
Well-
plays Sim as the cheese, but then I'm like, Biggs does. Then
Well, okay, so
So do
I'll
you-
be perfectly honest with you. Sim does not do that much in this comp. She puts TP down and then spams right click towards the enemy. So,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's also one of those things. Like, if I could literally if I could walk you here and teleport you, and then the sim jumps off the map, that's like
Pretty
she
much
might.
she's
Like, yeah, if she jumped off the map and swapped to someone else, it's like that's fine. But
okay.
since you shouldn't do that, because that is actively just having a 6 body.
it should
you
be
can
more
probably make
on
this.
Sim though.
Should
And
it?
then
So it's
Liz
off.
will film that shit. Or other way around.
Yeah. And I know you like, if since no one's a quote unquote, we have it pretty laid out. It's like this is all you have to, is
Put TP down, you spam
you drop
right
you
click
drop the
towards the
you
enemy.
drop the TP here, second TP you drop it behind this thing, and just you teleport up to that high ground. You put your sim turrets here. If they get destroyed,
Place
I
them
don't,
in
I don't know. Find a new place.
You can
Just
kind of just put them wherever. It
yeah,
doesn't
you
really
can
matter.
kind of
It's-
just you
yeah,
can
it's
kind of
super
just
simple.
throw them.
Those those 3 initial spots are really good, but after the first fight, they're gonna know they're there anyways. So you're free to move them. It doesn't really matter that much.
And this is
Yeah,
also specifically why this is a control strat for this specific. Is if you win the first fight, it's probably gonna take them a second or two to figure out what to switch to counter this,
I don't even know what to counter this with. to
or
be
like
honest with you.
what to do to counter this. So if you win the first fight, you're in a great position just to have a better economy because you basically don't need to use EMP.
Yeah.
Like that sounds really silly, but you don't need to use it. If they end up winning the fight at some point and capping, but let's say it's like 89-0 by the time they cap, if you just have a pocket EMP and you go swap to Somber Goats and you EMP the next fight and win, it's like there you go.
Well, I think you can do it with EMP, which would actually be pretty busted on this map. Is you combo is gonna sound stupid. EMP and teleporter. Literally, what you would do is you would you put your teleporter where your sim is to your bastion, and then EMP, and then the entire goats comp will say right is literally where like the circle is. in
Yeah,
front of
this
the
like
tower.
purple circle is.
And then they all just get mown down. Like, that's actually busted. If you think about it.
Yeah,
you
that's
can also
Or-
put amp
Holy
matrix in there too.
I was about to say, or you can do the plat thing and you can also amp matrix.
Well, the issue with that would just be without teleporting, they're just gonna hide behind the pillar, and you're gonna be at less value.
No, I meant like you teleport and amp matrix.
I mean, that's only 2 bolts, and amp matrix builds in about like 1 right click from battle. So like
Pretty
it's,
much.
it's a good ult, but it's also builds in 1 left click and or right click. So feel
I
free
mean,
to
hey,
use it.
honestly, but if they, this
I
is
could-
some sort of thing I just came up with like right now, and it's probably gonna sound stupid. But is there a way where you can set up if the BAP leaves the bunker
Uh-huh.
a little bit, maybe ends up on the high ground above the stairs, so above the purple circle?
Uh-huh.
Can you so you EMP, you win the fight? Can you amp matrix to charge the next EMP? Is that
Yeah, you
even
can.
feasible?
That is definitely feasible. That's actually a good strat.
Yeah, that's
That is-
you
good
can
idea.
also use
That's kinda
something
good idea,
like
what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
That sounded so. I was like, they're just gonna shield it, and it's gonna be a waste of an ult, and Sombra's gonna have to try to get out. But
I mean, no, I mean,
you can also do the same thing with bongo.
Yeah.
Is
I mean-
use the
Yeah.
bongo damage boost to help Sombra build it.
I'm gonna tell you something. Amp Matrix is not very good. Sombra's
Okay.
EMP is very good. So if you can use Amp Matrix to get even like 25% on EMP, it's worth it. Like,
cool. Okay.
yeah, it's honestly fine.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I'll,
actually hard to coordinate, but if you can, like, go for it.
Yeah,
We'll
like
practice that.
I guess if you could land an amp matrix,
You definitely could.
here,
Yeah.
Oh, I could land it in front of you. It has a surprising range.
I mean, Sombra
like
can.
that, and then have your
move,
Sombra kind of behind it.
And then you teleport your Bastion next to your Sim.
Oh, you know what? What if Sombra is on top of the light thing in the middle of the point.
She's
So-
probably gonna die, to be honest. I wouldn't do
So
that.
right
but
there, and put the just put the animatrix like on her.
That is bad, yeah.
That's
No,
bad,
they're she's literally like a shining beacon saying shoot me. Like up there.
Okay.
She's the only one that can be shot, so yeah, she'll probably die.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
actually curious if the teleporter would reach the balcony too.
It's
What, this
the top
this
one?
balcony?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
it does kind of from right where the Orisa is.
Yeah, we tested this. We were really
Yeah,
curious on
we
this,
actually
right?
did. We actually did look into this a little.
Because I was like,
But-
is Jib stupid or is Jib kind of smart? And
Look.
it turned out Jib wasn't that stupid.
Just try it once. If it doesn't work, you know,
Blame Jib.
just let it not work, and go to the next thing.
I was only 20% of this. Jib was 80. Don't blame me.
Okay, Frosto.
I have nothing to do with this.
No,
if it
that's-
works,
that-
if it
no,
works
that's
out,
true.
I helped him.
That's true. I definitely came up with this basically
Yeah.
by myself.
When Jib told me this was the thing, I looked at it and I said I don't like it instantly.
And I said, "Now hear me out."
And then I said no.
And here we are.
And yeah, and here we are. It's stuck.
Yeah, and then Jib kept saying, "Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out," and then I'm like, "Okay, fine, you can have this 1 point."
Okay,
We
so
got time for one more. If we want.
do we have time for one more? Does
Seven.
everyone
We
does
could-
everyone have to leave at 10 o'clock?
I mean, you're all free
No,
to
but
do
I
whatever.
kind of want to watch the league, but like I can
I
stop
wanna
at-
watch it
Oh
too.
shit! Is it on?
We have
It
5
starts.
minutes,
It
5
starts in
minutes.
6 minutes.
Let's go over
5
Paris
minutes.
really quick.
Go
Actually,
fast. Go, 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 go.
Jib, go!
Wait, doesn't the pre-show start in 6 minutes?
No, the pre-show. The
Yeah,
pre-show's
the
on.
pre-show's already started. What are we doing? Paris first?
Go Paris. I like Paris. We'll do it really quick. It'll make it fun.
Oh, that's true. This is
This is the Proxima strat.
well, it's Proxima, then it's Clockwork. Smile.
Okay, first point. I'm gonna go over this quick so we can all watch Overwatch League. Smile. It's Bunker the Diva. Diva matrixes. Bastion shoots. Baptiste uses immortality when there's abilities that can kill his team. Right? Okay, good. Junkrat puts a trap on the left side to trap people. All right.
Oh.
If the enemy,
You also use Tire as like
I
anti-EMP.
was getting to.
Sorry.
Yes, it does. If they EMP, your Junkrat hides, and then he tires anybody that's going after his team.
Bomb
Would I
costs
be
people
Ana or
that
Bap
too,
in this
right?
scenario?
Up to you. Doesn't really matter.
Uh,
Okay.
Probably
depends on what
Bat.
we're swapping to.
Yeah, probably Bat.
What are we swapping to on second?
Clockwork.
Clockwork.
So you'd be Zen here.
Okay. So you'd be the Bat. Yeah.
If you'd rather be Ana, I can be Bap and then swap Zen. I don't know I forget which flex support you're more comfortable with. Probably Ana, right?
Yes. I'm more comfortable
Okay,
with Ana, but
yeah.
I can play Bap and Zen.
All right,
Okay.
Mac, you play Ana.
Let her Ana then. Okay. That's fine.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Enemy goes to point. You rotate to where the Ana is. Click the button, Jib. And then also the trap.
Look at that
down
Orisa
right.
fucking zoom.
And then you put a trap down because they get trapped. It's crazy. And then yeah. And then if you win this fight, you go back to the first position. It's pretty much it. You know.
So, bomb is also. Is it worth using bomb as an anti-EMP as well? Tire, of course, right? But bomb is quicker, I think.
Tire, I think, is better because you can control. You know, you can actually choose where to blow people up. Also, if they have, say if it's a goats comp, if it's a somber goats comp, you can use bomb better to counter grab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, if it's Sombra Genji dive, a bomb is one real way to just shut down a Nano Blade.
Oh well, you know,
Immediately.
they both do both jobs. Like if
Okay.
they EMP, you can
Yeah.
tire or bomb, and if they blade,
Yeah,
you
you shot call which one you want to use. You do
Yes.
one or the other. You never do both at the same.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I would immortality on both of them just in case because it's an ability, which is pretty much an alt whatever. All right, quick. Clockwork. Okay.
Clockwork. Yes.
There's a turret spot on the top right. There's like a little ledge you can put a turret on. It's kind of hard to see, but there's like a little ledge. And if you put that turret on it, it's above the ground. It's pretty good. All right. They push in. You rotate to the other side. They push on one of the sides. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's it.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Your
is you
hog,
just,
your
like-
hog can control the backline if he needs to, or your Torb or your May. Like to the left side where there's a little staircase, hog can control that from flankers if he needs to. So
Would
pretty much it.
Jib or Frosto, would one of you be able to post like generic screenshots of like positioning? Or,
Yes,
like,
I
make a
can.
document or something?
I can do that after this. I'll
Yeah.
I'll post all the ones
Well,
we went
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Yeah, no rush. I was just curious.
Oh yeah, this is Jib snapping in, so he's got this under control.
We have time for one more map if we do now.
If we do it fast.
Quick one.
This guy,
Uh,
Where-
Yeah,
I'll
that's
do it
true.
quick.
Our
I'm speeding
no,
through
no, no,
this.
no. No, don't worry. Volskaya second, Somber Goat, so it's pretty easy to understand. Here, everyone look at Volskaya second real quick. Who's your Zarya?
Moyer.
Moyer.
Moira, is he in
Or
here?
off tank.
No.
No.
Okay,
Tanks are missing.
in the
except
in
for
the
us, tank sub.
in the VOD, Moira, you can right click jump that.
Yeah. Especially with Lucio speed boost, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Armor
Sombra,
rotates on those arrows, pretty much, if you need to.
yeah, you go to the back stairs. If they go dark, you go.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Sombra stays high ground, hacks the
Sombra
mega.
goes, yeah, easy.
Good.
Yep.
Easy. First point, you have double sniper with the fucking whatever the team is, right? Okay.
It's
So
it's double
quick.
sniper. Orisa, Mercy's in.
Jim,
Sombra.
let me explain
Solo
quick.
tank. Okay.
All right. If they go to I don't even remember what the rotates are anymore. Whatever. Okay. Jib, stop. I don't know what's
Sorry.
happening anymore. Okay. If they rotate on top of the Jib, go back. Okay. If Jib. Oh no, there's no people.
They're all
Okay.
dead.
They're all
Somber
dead.
goats it
Okay.
is.
Just yep.
We failed this strat. Okay, if they rotate on top of the red X, you go to the
Which
red
red
X
X's?
with the 1.
Okay.
No, with the 1. If they go to the 1, you go to the 2. If they go to the 2, you go to the 1. That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Now,
Okay.
Okay,
So,
so-
this is what you do if the enemy's on the red X that's a 1 next to it. If the enemy goes
Well,
to that one,
not exactly. It's if they follow this green path with a 2.
yes,
is-
but then ends
this
up on
is
the
your-
1, yeah.
Yeah, this is your rotate.
Yes. And if
Oh,
they're-
I get it. Okay.
So if enemy team follows green, we go to red with the corresponding number.
yes.
Yes.
Carry the
Exactly.
2 times pi and you're good, man.
Boom.
Yes.
GG easy.
Go to
It
math
did,
class.
it did very quickly turn into math. We added X's.
Or go to math class. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Fuck
Okay.
this.
And if they go to X2, you go to X1. That's pretty much how that works. Just go to the opposite side. We
I don't
didn't
exactly
actually
remember
plan
what happens
positions.
next.
Oh, we did. Okay. There you go.
Actually, I have one question since you don't have time for another map. We have time
Go
for
for it.
a question. So I'm Zen. I also have this defense. At what? And I'm Ana for Somber Goats for obvious reasons. If we do run Ana, what like? Obviously, if I have chance, I'm staying Zen for one round. But like,
It's
if
fine.
I have 60 chance, am I staying? If I have 50 chance, am I staying? Like, what's the
I
number?
think if you will get trance in the next fight, for sure, stay Zen. But if you won't
Okay.
get trance in the next fight within the first like 10 seconds, switch.
Okay, so 70, 80. Okay.
Also play in the mega room, not on top. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that should be.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense to play in the mega room. I have the mega if I can do it. Yeah.
There you
that-
go.
that's
Back to the
Alright.
mega.
Switch
So-
off of Mercy pretty much no matter what.
Yeah, you switch
Yeah.
Mercy no
Yeah,
matter what.
there's no reason to hold on to There's no reason to hold on to
anyone except for Sombra.
any
and
of
Zen.
these
Okay.
4 ults. As
Yeah.
much as I love Supercharger, don't.
Jib loves Supercharger.
Ryan's better though. Ryan's better than Ryan existing
Yes.
with Supercharger.
Yes, basically.
Alright, so tomorrow before the scrim, we will try and go over Hanamura and Horizon, and
Resident Sleeper, dude.
then
should,
the
should we not like try the strats we looked at rather than going over more strats?
He probably should. I'm gonna be honest
probably,
here.
but
Up
if
to,
we-
again, it's up to you. If you want to try the strats, you're free to do it. These are suggestions. But if you want to try a different comp, you go for it.
No, I mean like instead of like tomorrow before the scrim, you know, going through
okay.
all of the other maps, going over the same maps again, and then playing those maps in the scrim, and then
You could.
just so we
Well-
can solidify it and figure out what we're doing instead of having
that
all
could work.
20 maps.
That could
Uh-huh,
work,
right.
but it's gonna be kind of hard to find a team that specifically just wants to scrim 2 CP and control map.
That is true.
I forgot to look at payload. What
We
the
will
fuck?
try
Okay.
like 2 of the strats tomorrow. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. We'll try at least 2 of them.
That,
also.
that's kind of why I
forgot-
want to go. That's
Forgot
kind of
we
want to.
had-
That's why I want to go over more tomorrow before the scrim, so that we can at least give you like if we give you strats for every map, then in the you will basically be
Well,
able
we'll
to
get
try
that-
something on each map type.
I'm sure if we tell the team we want to try 2 maps or we want to play 2 maps in particular, then we'll be fine. Either way. That's-
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay.
You play one of every map type and maybe a duplicate or 2. That's it's
So
great.
do we want to do the rest of the maps an hour before the scrim tomorrow? 30 minutes.
I mean, we probably should do it another day, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's a lot. You guys are gonna have
And-
3 hours of Overwatch stuff. So
And we need a warm up time too.
yeah, I
I
would.
think-
Sleeper
We'll
I think
plan
if the
it
scrim
another
starts
day.
at 8, if the scrim starts at 8, let's show up at 7 Eastern. That is.
You got-
And we don't have to like have a warm up scrim. We can just do some comp or do some quick play. But warming up as a team for whatever reason has been like really important.
Frosto and I will just make a video of us arguing over strats, and we'll say
Yes,
this is your
please.
homework, and we'll make
Jib
you
is
watch,
like,
and we'll
"This is
we'll
good."
make it, and we'll make you watch it. And we'll be
Yeah,
like,
Jib is like,
hey, you have
"This
to
is
watch
good."
this before scrim tomorrow.
100% I would
Okay.
watch it.
Jib, this
Okay.
is good. It's not good. Don't run this.
It's like, but I want them to play Hanzo, and you're like,
What rank are
Hanzo's
you?
bad.
What rank
Yeah.
is Jib? I don't even know what rank Jib is.
He's worse than you guys.
Ooh.
Sorry, not supposed to be toxic, but it was toxic.
This
Sorry.
is fine.
this is fine and fun. You know.
Okay, let's
I'm
go
excited.
watch Owl.
I'm excited.
To the Overwatch League watch party if
The-
you want to
the-
watch.
Sure, why not watch party this up?
Come on in, everybody.